Hello, 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 hello. How are y'all doing? We got two people decided to join so far. How are y'all doing? I don't know who you are, so say hey. And let's join the chat and see how everything is going. Today we're just gonna talk. We are gonna talk. This is sponsored, of course, by everything's back. USCCA. Go to the website, sign up, use the code Harry in all capitals. Get a hook up there. I say sign up for the gold. Sign up for the elite package if you want to do that, because it is definitely something that you should do. So, what we're going to talk about today? Let's talk about anything, everything. Politics, firearms, everything. So, this is what we're going. We got Biden and let the mandatorium on evictions expire. I don't know if he just did that because how much he dislikes Trump and he wants to get rid of Trump era rules and regulations, but it's estimated that like 63 million people could be homeless now because of that, due to people not being able to work and stuff like that. So hopefully, apparently though, Congress is working on a deal to get in there and fix that. Hopefully that comes through. This moratorium is not a party issue, in my opinion. It is a everybody. I mean, both parties. To be honest with you, Democrat or Republican, both of them are failing our. In reality, both of them are actually failing our political system right now. So, in my opinion, I mean, what do y'all think? What do you think? And let's see some chats. Let's create a poll right now. Do you think our government is doing a good job? And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you fall on. We as Americans have to really step up and be a part of this and do something about it. You got to talk to your state really bad, because there's $3 billion given to states to help people in the situation and what's happening to the money. And that's one of the big issues. The state governments themselves, and this was Democrat states, Republican states, and all that. They're the ones that are doing it. So we really need to talk to our state representatives and get them on the ball, get them moving. Really get them moving when it comes to stuff like that. So, you know, what's some questions y'all have for me? Firearm related questions, political questions, anything like that. I do have some big news coming up. Possibly hinting, me getting back into body piercing, and also me running for state senate could be in the cards coming up soon. So that's something that I would definitely like to do. I see what's going on in this country, and it's not good. It's not something I really like to see. I don't like seeing my fellow countrymen suffer, no matter what color, race, religion they are. This is the United States of America. You know what? You're right. There's life out there, and definitely, 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 possibly two aliens making out, and that's actually really cool to think about right there. You know, hopefully one day we can make contact with extraterrestrial life. I'm a firm believer that we live in an infinite universe. Well, the universe isn't infinite if you think about it. There's actually been research that just recently shown there is a wall at the end of the universe, and I believe it was Einstein that talked about the collapsing universe. That one day our universe will collapse in on itself, and instead of the Big Bang, we'll have the Big Crush, where everything will collapse on itself. We do have an expanding universe, and some point the gravitational force of the universe will give out. But it'd be nice that we can maybe make a connection with extraterrestrial life before any of that occurs. But we do have to learn how to travel at light speed, or the aliens will have to contact us and show us the way. Maybe aliens used to visit us a long time ago. Maybe they were the gods of ancient times that was worshipped as Thor and worshipped as, the Egyptian gods and the gods of the Mayan culture and stuff like that. So maybe that's where some of that came from. So who knows? But it'd be nice that if they could return and tell us what's going on. Hopefully we don't get into an intergalactic war, because hell, there's rednecks out there that wanted to shoot at a hurricane. Hopefully they don't shoot at a spaceship before we know what's going on out there. But yeah, that's something that that's a weird thought to think about, but it's something that would be great to see and great to do one day. I just can imagine the technology they could treat us, that they could show us for maybe peace. I mean, I'm one of those people that believe war leads to peace. I'll be honest with that. You can't have peace without war, and you can't have war without peace. That's a weird philosophical thing to think about, but it's been brought up many times over the years. But I don't think an intergalactic war is something that our Earth needs, because humans themselves were really weak. Oh yeah, of course. That's exactly what I'm thinking. We would try to kill them, study them, because humans are naturally, curious about things, and sometimes we go to extreme lengths to learn stuff that maybe we shouldn't. Maybe instead of dissection, we should try communication. And honestly, that's something that we should talk about today. Like, look at our government. There's no communication going on in our government right now. They just sit there and want to argue and stall, and Mitch McConnell, the Republican Party, doing his BS, and you got Nancy Pelosi up there doing her BS. When both parties need to say, hey, look, we represent the people. We need to start being there for the people. That's one thing that definitely should be going on. And Biden and Harris need to realize that too. They are our president. She is our vice president. And even though I didn't vote for him, I didn't vote for Trump either, to be honest with you, I'm glad he's gone. He would start a war just because of his stupid mouth. But he did a lot of stuff I didn't agree with. Biden's doing a lot of stuff I don't agree with. I don't like his attack on our Second Amendment. I don't think if you swear to uphold the Constitution, you shouldn't be attacking constitutional rights. That's my opinion. But yeah, if aliens come, we definitely would kill them and study them and start a freaking war, because that's how humans are, and I guarantee you it'd be the United States that did it. That's just the way we are. And some redneck will probably be out there shooting at them and stuff like that, and something's going to happen. We'll start a war one way or another with them. Russia, China, somebody. would definitely start a war with them. If it's not the United States, which I guarantee it would probably be the United States. I mean, after all, we have freaking Space Force now. Yay, Space Force. Yeah. But, so, either way. By the way, I love that name you have there. Sparcell Shadow Diamond. That's a cool name. And I love the fact that you talk about aliens and stuff like that. That's something that I do think about. And I actually believe I have seen UFOs on several occasions. I live close to several military bases, so I don't know if it's UFOs or they're just testing new military equipment. I live about 35 minutes away from Fort Benning, and I also live really close to the Air Force Base that the president lands at, close to Atlanta, and the CDC and all that great stuff. So, yay for me. One thing I want to talk about is the View wants to say that the Second Amendment was there to protect slavery. We will evolve to know how to adapt to every part of the world. You know, that is very true. And I want you to go look on my channel after this chat's done. And I'm actually doing a series on conservation and about hunters. Hunters themselves, like Otto Leopold from back in the day, and he talked about conservation, and conservation is very key. We have to protect our earth. You know, I wouldn't say I'm an environmentalist, but I am a very big sportsman and outdoorsman. I'm sponsored by, here's a shout out to BJ Custom Baits and a couple of other organizations like Guggen Baits. Whoop, Guggen Squad. I'm not a member of the Guggen Squad, but I'm a member of their team, and I use their baits all the time. But I don't hang out with the squad. So shout out to Guggen Baits also. But I will say that we do need to evolve mentally in our thought process about trying to protect our earth. Because we have to be able to save our planet, protect our trees, and start using everything that we eat. You know, like if you peel a potato to make mashed potatoes, you can actually fry the potato skins and have something like a thin French fry that tastes really good. I actually did that last night. You have to use every part of the plant, every part of the animal for some reason. If you're a deer hunter, you go out and you kill a deer. Don't throw away the heart. Don't throw away the liver, stuff like that. That's some of the best parts of the deer. You know, elk, caribou. Caribou, for instance, the fat behind the eye is almost like butter. It's amazingly tasty, but that stuff gets thrown away. So you can't do that. We have to use every part of everything, and we have to start evolving from that. For some reason, during the Industrial Revolution, we started getting away from nature in the United States especially, to try to stop showing that we are the backwoods nation. So that's something that has to stop itself. Oh yeah, we'll definitely make the earth end quicker, and we're on that path right now. You know, Nixon, President Nixon. A lot of people give him crap, but you know he's the one that created the EPA, and presidents after him actually started ripping apart the EPA and the power that they had. But we need to allow the EPA to do their work, find the companies, find the factories, put regulations on what the emissions that some of these factories produce out. You know, it's going to be hard for us to get away from petroleum because a lot of people don't understand plastics are cell phones. The plastics on our cell phones, our cell phone cases, stuff like that, they're all made from oil. And it's not just automobiles that need oil and stuff like that. a lot of stuff is made from oil, and we need to start getting away that. Look, we can synthesize opiates and make them more dangerous. We can synthesize petroleum, and we can make stuff if we put our brains to it and do it. I mean, the ancient Egyptians had a drill that was hard enough to go through freaking granite at the time, or something like that. So I mean, come on. Our scientists today can step up and actually do something for the environment. They just need to get those grants, and instead of putting grants for research to study frogs in space and stuff like that, we need to put research into how we can get away from drilling for oil in the ground and fracking and stuff like that, and learn how to synthesize these products so we can have them without having to use up our natural resources on Earth and polluting our rivers, polluting our oceans. Because I mean, the fish in our seas, stuff like that, they're going away. I got Teddy Roosevelt. He founded the national park system. And he's also probably the best president the United States ever had. And he's the reason that we have the American buffalo still. He saw them, he protected them. There are only 200 left when Teddy Roosevelt put them into a park area right outside of the Yellowstone area. And then they rose, and now there's a sustainable herd where we can actually go in, hunt them if we want to, and there is strict regulations on their hunting, which there should be. Same as deer. That's why there's regulations on them. People don't understand that. And I hear it every year, why can't we kill more deer? Because they're always running out the road and messing up our cars. Well, that's their land first. I mean, humans are invading. Humans are the worst parasites there is on Earth. We are parasites. That's the truth. Humans are parasites. We are destructive beings, as it is. I actually posted on my Facebook page the other day, the true amount of energy that humans have is equal to a large amount of TNT. If you see photos of the Earth now and a few years ago, it got way more gray. The animals need to be protected. They are also living things like us, but some people just... Oh, I completely agree with that. And again, like I was saying, watch the conservation series that I'm putting out. Part 1's out right now. I got part 2 I'm going to do in a couple of days. But it's talking about how hunters... part 2 is going to be about the African Safari series. And that one's going to be the most interesting, considering that a lot of people hate on the safari stuff. But it actually helps animals reproduce. A lot of animals would actually be extinct without this safari hunting. Clubs like Safari International and stuff like that go in and actually help. They're the ones that actually put people in to protect the rhinos from poachers and stuff like that. Poachers are not hunters. Poachers are the scum of the earth. I'll tell you that straight up. And that's not just poachers in Africa. It's poachers we have here in the United States that try to kill deer when they're not in season. Female deer, baby deer, stuff like that. Those kind of people right there are the scum of the earth. There's some... But we do. There's a lot of animals that we have to protect. There's a lot of fish we have to protect. People seem to forget about our aquatic friends a lot. We want to focus on the cute and cuddly animals like pandas and things like that. But there's creatures out there that we have to protect. The Norwell, I forgot the name of the fish right now. But there's a lot of fish out there that are disappearing. Of course, there's a lot of fish out there that we thought were extinct that we're finding now that in the deep water, which is awesome. But there's a lot of fish we got to protect. And a lot of it's due to people like the Asian carp is actually an invasive species in the United States that's killing a lot of bass population and stuff like that because they go in and actually eat the eggs and stuff before they can become fry. So but it was brought in by the Asian population that came into the United States because they eat them, and I understand that. I understand that a lot, but it's a complicated issue. I mean, right now in Georgia and Alabama and Mississippi, they're finding goldfish in freshwater lakes and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, it's just a goldfish. Well, the problem is invasive species destroy the population. So we got to watch out for invasive species because they can actually wipe out the natural species in that area. That's why. And then we have lakes drying up. We have rivers drying up because of the increased heat, because of the pollution that we are putting out in the environment. And we got to stop that. You know? China eats a lot of the animals that are that we normally wouldn't eat. I mean, heck, that's why we get a lot of the diseases that we have out there because of the human transfer. That's how MERS spread in the Middle East because of Chinese trade. We had SARS start out, and possibly even this new coronavirus that's going around today. I'm not going to speculate on it, but I do believe it was lab created. Just saying. But I'm not going to speculate too much on that. But China is also the leading polluter, and they do dump a lot of trash in the ocean. But a lot of people need to realize that the United States sends their trash to China, and China is really the world's trash dump because a lot of trash goes to China, and they recycle it, and they actually make cheap products and toys and stuff out of garbage. And they also dump a lot of trash into the ocean, which kills a lot of the sea life in that area. And then, but they actually send out poachers that actually trap a lot of animals and stuff like that, and it's a disgusting thing that occurs. Oh yeah, goldfish are very aggressive, and a lot of people who like, I don't want any more, and they release it. Well, the thing is, a lot of people will actually use goldfish to fish for bass, and they'll put a hook in it, put it out there in the water, and it actually gets free. It's not really that they go, but yeah, goldfish get huge, and people don't realize that. I actually had a goldfish I kept in a 50-gallon aquarium, and it got freaking huge. It got probably about 4 or 5 pounds. And they get huge. They get this. They're goldfish are a type of koi. They're in the koi family. People don't realize that sometimes. And a goldfish is only restricted by the size of the tank. So if you keep it in a little bowl, it will stay small. If you put it in a big aquarium, it will grow big. If you put it in a lake, it's gonna get huge. There's been some big goldfish. Google goldfish caught in lake, and you'll see some of the size of these goldfish, and they're freaking huge. And what people don't realize is they eat a lot of stuff. They eat a lot of stuff. They do eat other fish. They'll eat baby crappie and stuff like that, which is the food source of bass. It's the food source of catfish. It's the food source of gar. A lot of fish. A lot of predatory fish. And people don't realize that bass is a predatory sunfish. It's in the sunfish family, the same family that contains crappie, bluegill, and stuff like that. Bass is just a bigger version of those. Same family, but I'm actually enjoying this chat. It's getting into very deep subjects and stuff, and Shadow Diamond, it's hard to pronounce your first name, but Shadow Diamond, you're coming up with some great stuff, and I hope you join me for the next live stream in a couple of days. So keep an eye out. So subscribe to the channel, please. Oh yeah, they're getting plastic particles and stuff like that. I didn't know that they're getting you aggressive though. I gotta research that. I gotta look into that. I know they're finding plastics in their body and stuff like that. I'm gonna look into that. Oh, thanks for the sub. Then you rock. Um, I will definitely. I'm gonna do some research into that, and then I might talk about that in the conservation video, part three, or I might take part two and just change it up to what I was gonna do and actually talk about this because this is actually a really important subject right here. To be honest with you, completely important. Man, this chat's going longer than I thought it was going to. I'm very much enjoying it. It seems like the poll thinks that our government's doing great. Well, that's only one vote. Okay. um. Yeah. I I think when it comes to our government, they're hit and miss on a lot of stuff. Like I said, though, they need to leave the Constitution alone. No government official should mess with the Constitution unless that constitutional act is infringing on the rights of the people, and we've already got those amendments out of the way. Oh yeah, the deer zombie virus. Yeah, I've seen that a lot. It hasn't gone to humans yet. They do fear that, and I hope it goes away. The weird thing is actually because there's deer farming where they keep deer and stuff like that and grow them, and they actually it's spreading. It's a type of wasting disease. It's a prion, and they're afraid that prion, which is the prions are very hard to treat because they go into the brain. And this is almost like a mad cow disease in a way. And if you kill one of these deer, don't eat it, and actually report it to DHR, your Department of Human Resources, your state wildlife management and stuff like that. Report it. Don't get near it. Report it. Try to seal off that, like, rope off that area. The thing about it is, deer are catching this from eating where other deer who are infected with this have pooped, and then they eat the grass and stuff around there, and then they're catching it from that. It's the virus is spreading. That's mostly up in the northern part of the United States. The southern part of Canada has experienced some cases. Michigan's really bad with it. I think they have some cases in the eastern part of Montana also. But scientists are really studying. They don't know if it's going to go to humans yet. There's also a fungus that is spreading in Texas nursing homes right now that is immune to treatment. So that one's hard to treat. So we got to look out for a new small epidemic spreading through Texas right now, where they've had a couple of deaths from it, and it is. For ants. I don't know what the ant thing is. What's going on, ants, man? But oh no, it's not the fungus. It's not the fungus that affects ants. This fungus actually came from Canada. It was discovered in Canada a couple of years ago, and now it's back in the United States. Somehow it got there, and then we got the monkeypox going on. There's 200 people that's being watched right now for the monkeypox. There's a couple in Atlanta, several in Texas, and things like that. That's monkeypox is common in Western Africa, but not usually spread here. So that's kind of weird that we're getting that. But hopefully those people get treatment, and hopefully we can control the monkeypox so it doesn't become a epidemic or pandemic throughout the world. And That's what I'm saying. The United States gets a lot of crap for being the global police, but the thing is, we also need to be more of a caring country. We are the guiding light to a lot of nations. Yeah, we can be a crap show sometimes, where people think that we have issues and stuff, but there's still a lot of people around the world that give their lives trying to get here. And I believe in the immigration policy. I mean, we should let we are the guideline. I mean, hell, we have a bronze statue that's now green from the environment turning it green, but it was bronze originally, and that's the Statue of Liberty, and it literally says, "Give us your hungry and your wheat." Well, the thing is, so evolution and mutation, that's a great thing. Mutation would have to occur with a chemical element, but I believe that we're seeing an evolution, humans and evolution in animals. People are actually getting shorter, which is actually a sign of coming. Is actually a sign of a coming ice age. This was actually seen right before the Little Ice Age in Europe. People being born were actually shorter. And if you actually pay attention, a lot of the average height has actually gone down in the United States, Europe, and other countries. Fish are evolving different ways. There's been a lot of fish caught, like bass and stuff, that have weird features and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen like the hybrid bass. They actually have spikes that can actually stab you. So I think we're seeing an evolution occurring, and that's a good thing, but it's also a sign of things to come. We're seeing, like, when it comes to global warming, I believe, yes, it's being pushed harder because of things that are going on with our companies, but it's also a natural cycle going on. And I believe we're also going to see a great cooling effect in the years to come after we get through these hard heat waves for the next 10 to 15 years. We'll see a great cooling, and we might see another glacier effect in our lifetime, possibly even. And another ice age. And the fact is, will we survive? And humans have evolved. Humans show evolution. I mean, if you look at the skin colors of different people, you see height differences. You can look at one of the greatest things you can look at is Irish and African culture. They actually share the same skull features. Irish are actually descendants from Northern Africa. They're not a European descended culture, and it's believed that people from Northern Africa left and actually went up into Ireland because this term is no longer used, but they share the Mongol skull shape, which if you actually look at the sideways feature of my face, how it's like this. I look like a freaking gorilla because of it. I'm mostly Irish, and I share a lot of the Irish features, a lot of the Celtic Irish features, because my family dates back a long time into Ireland. And those skull features mean a lot. And that's actually one reason there was a lot of racism and hatred towards the Irish back in the day. So they actually compared Irish people to monkeys. And there's actually already fish that evolved. You have mud skippers, stuff like that. A gar can actually live out of the water because they breathe oxygen. They actually have to come up to breathe air. It could be possible that we could see new species of fish evolving and go onto land. We could see maybe a type of mud skipper or catfish or something like that start to evolve and come up, you start seeing these species. There's been new species. There was those animals before the dinosaurs that were bigger, and there was. I don't think we'll see the size of dinosaurs ever again, just because the oxygen level in the atmosphere is not as great as it was then, because trees are a lot smaller, and then humans are destroying the earth by cutting down trees, and development is taking over. So instead of living in harmony like we should with nature, we are destroying nature. So our earth can't sustain large animals like the dinosaur. The largest land animal that we can actually sustain would probably be bigger than the modern elephant. We could probably see something the size of a woolly mammoth again, something like that. But due to the oxygen decrease, we'll never see anything the size of a dinosaur. But I could see a different species of aquatic animals maybe coming back on land, or even some land animals that end up becoming semi-aquatic or something like that, like we saw with, it's thought that whales and dolphins actually evolved from a type of wolf that started hunting near the ocean, then eventually went out into the water and and then evolved fins and stuff like that. So we could see a vice versa effect, I mean, it'd be cool if humans end up evolving gills and we become semi-aquatic, in a way. That'd be cool. I mean, how cool would that be if you could actually swim underwater? But I think we that are already alive, we're stuck the way we are unless there's a mutation. Since we are already here, we would have to have a mutation. Well, the megalodon definitely existed and is gone. And the megalodon definitely existed. The megalodon definitely existed, and we don't know what's down truly deep in the. We know more about space than we do our own oceans. That's what's weird. But the ocean could actually sustain some larger animals if it grows big enough. But there's actually whales that have washed up with huge chunk bites taken out of them. But it could be from a squid, it could be from something. But who's to say that the megalodon actually didn't evolve into the great white shark? Evolution has a weird way of doing things. So, but apparently, according to science, the megalodon and the great white were actually not even related. So, but there's also giant sharks out there. You have the whale shark, you have the basking shark. So that's cool to see. Those humans, you have the Brazilian villages that are actually built on top of water. You have in the Philippines and Borneo, places like that, where they actually build villages on water. I could see evolution taking that and doing that, because you got to think, okay, so let's look at, there's two types of evolution. There's micro and macro evolution. Macro, it is large evolution. It takes a long time to occur, over hundreds and thousands of years. But microevolution occurs in small amounts. It can happen in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And that's really how humans got their pigment from. I'm not a person that says that we came from Africa. I actually believe that we all came from the Middle East, probably the Egypt, Iraq area, that little area right there. Mesopotamia, where Mesopotamia is, the Byzantine Empire, and all that area. I believe that's where we came at, because I believe we all had, when our original ancestry had the tan skin that you see today in a lot of the Middle Eastern culture. And then that, as we split off and went off into Africa, went off into China, and then they came into the United States, across the Arctic Bridge. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. The bridge over there, and they came in through North America, where Alaska is, came down through Mexico and all that. I believe the microevolution took effect. So you had the darker skin evolved, so it would in the hotter, warmer areas where more sun gets. So yes, I believe if you live on the water, stuff like that, you're going to evolve to be able to survive in a water condition. I mean, I try to stay at the lake all the time. I wish I could evolve where I could stay in the water for 5 minutes. But, I mean, I can hold my breath for a while. The longest I've ever stayed underwater without coming up was 2.5 minutes, but just holding my breath. But that's when I was a lot younger and in better shape. That's before I was diagnosed with lupus. Oh, there's a lot of viruses that are actually made by humans and weaponized. They actually in 1956 they weaponized malaria, and the United States government released it in South Georgia. They weaponized mosquitoes, gave them a form of malaria that they actually twisted. The CIA made a virus gas that they released in the New York subway in 1952, and it made several people super sick and killed people. And then they studied I mean, look at the Tuskegee Project and what they did to those people down there, to the African Americans in Tuskegee, where they were basically infected with syphilis, and they didn't treat them at all. They were literally studying them, trying to actually weaponize syphilis. But the Wuhan lab was actually given money by the United States government, and there was U.S. scientists there, and all of them were actually studying. All of them were actually studying different viruses and stuff like that. The interesting fact is, in October 2019, before the COVID came out, in November 2019, there was 9 scientists from that Wuhan lab that went to the hospital experiencing the symptoms that we know today as COVID-19. So that lab in Wuhan was actually known as a place where viruses were created. And I don't know if you remember or you're old enough. But there's a place in Alabama, almost right on the border, where there was a huge leak of biochemical weapons. So I don't believe the Earth is flat, but humans are evolving. I hope we do get smarter. To be honest with you, I was blessed to have a 156 IQ, and as from a young child, I started reading books and studying and stuff like that, and I was always in books, always reading, always trying to learn. I was reading books on American history at the age of 5, so very strong into to knowledge, and I believe that the way that we are teaching our kids in school now, I believe that we actually might see we need parents to step up, like really truly step up and guide our kids to knowledge. But let's talk about the Earth is flat issue though. That was proven way back in the day, and I believe it was 605 BC or 605 AD, by a Greek philosopher. Okay. I was worried there for a second that you're one of the flat earthers. But I'm just saying, though, for people who believe the Earth is flat, the Earth has been proven to be round since back in the day when a Greek philosopher went to Egypt, went on the beach right there on the Mediterranean, stuck 3 sticks in the ground, and followed the horizon to prove that it was round. Now, interesting that you say the poles are flatter. They actually found a tunnel in the South Pole leading down to huge lakes recently. So, Antarctica used to be a huge, very luscious landmass that was full of life. There was life everywhere there. Those trees. It was a huge tropical paradise, really, before it became a frozen mass when it settled down at the South Pole. So there's that. So up under all that ice, there is solid land, and who knows what we're going to eventually find down there. And in that ice that we're drilling out all over the place, from Siberia to even in Canada and Greenland, they're finding viruses, and some of those viruses haven't been around for thousands of years, and they are coming back to life. So who knows what they are doing? Who knows if COVID-19 was originally one of those viruses that they were studying that is from one of those ice caps. I apologize about my dog going crazy back there with my kiddos. Gotta love kids. I love my children to death. They are great kids. My youngest daughter actually wants to do this. She wants to be a YouTube star and do all the great stuff. So, but either way, do y'all have any other questions or want to talk about anything else? Thanks. Yeah, they're awesome. They're the lights of the world of me and my wife. My wife's from Iraq. I actually just got out of the hospital a few days ago. If you look at the short little videos I did, they were actually in the hospital. My face was kind of messed up. All this was swollen right here. There's still some swelling. I had a cellulitis infection in my face that was going back into my nasal cavities, trying to close it off, going up behind my eye. There's actually, I don't know if it's still there. There was some redness in my eye from the infection and all that. And it was trying to travel up into my brain, and I also had kidney failure going on at that time. I have lupus, psoriatic arthritis, really bad neuropathy from lupus that attacked my nervous system so bad that it actually affects the blood flow in my legs. All like the swelling right here dug my glass. I didn't want to put my contacts in because of the swelling and all that, and my glasses dug in right here from the swelling. This right here is from the psoriatic arthritis. It was a hard time. I was in the hospital from Sunday until a couple days ago. Yeah, I know people think the world population was going to be lowered. In Georgia, there's the Georgia Guidestones that talk about how the earth needs to be saved by lowering the population. The Georgia Guidestones were put there, I believe, in the 1970s, and actually talks about the plan to lower world population and what the world population needs to be to sustain life on Earth. And a lot of people are actually looking at the Georgia Guidestone now, believing that this is the case, that it was the New World Order acting out the Georgia Guidestones trying to lower the world population. And we're seeing a mutation. Speaking of mutation, we're seeing a mutation with the Delta variant, and this happens with the virus. Every time a virus enters a person, it changes slightly based on the DNA of that person. So we're seeing the Delta and other different variants starting to form out. And the Delta variant is sort of immune to the vaccine that's going around. I personally have not taken the vaccine because, to me, it was released too quickly. There's been several sites where they've actually just injected people with saline instead of the actual virus. So to me, they're running control tests to see how the vaccine actually works. And I'm not going to be a guinea pig. I'm sorry. I will take the vaccine when it's eventually, in my opinion, safe. Because my thing is, smallpox, the vaccine for smallpox took about 7 to 8 years to develop correctly. The vaccine for polio took 10 to 15 years to develop. So you're not going to tell me that we created a vaccine for COVID-19 in 3 months. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not something I believe, because we couldn't even create a vaccine for the original SARS virus, and this is really just a mutated version of SARS. I mean, it's literally called SARS-CoV-2. So, and I mean, at the same time, it's weird because this all happened when Hong Kong was doing their protest to try to separate from China, and all of a sudden, we have this virus that started spreading from China all around the world and became a pandemic. And I sit here and said it was a pandemic before the World Health Organization said it was a pandemic. And the leading financer for the World Health Organization is China. So there's a lot of weirdness going on here. But the United States military is also developing a vaccine. The U.S. Army Medical Department is developing a vaccine, and they're working on it hard. And they're expecting to have it by 2024. So they're working on it and trying to actually do it correctly. Would I trust something that our United States military does? Probably, but just because of the way that they're working on it. They're doing trial errors and stuff like that. They're having some success with it, but not the way they want it to go. So, do you know a virus can be its own cure? Also, the vaccine is really getting quick to go out. I think it was just so people... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Viruses can be trained to attack themselves. Did you know that there's actually a study where they're actually using hepatitis to try to cure cancer? They're using a mutated version of hepatitis to attack cancer cells, and it's quite effective actually. Viruses can actually be our friend, just like some forms of natural products out there like marijuana, which I believe should be legalized, and I believe everybody who's in prison right now on marijuana charges should be released. I mean, I think it's BS that California legalized marijuana, but they still have people locked up for it. They should release them. Same as Oregon. Oregon has basically legalized heroin and cocaine and methamphetamines for their stuff. They should literally release people on marijuana charges. It's BS. That's a natural plant that's medically proven to help people, and our government needs to stop the whole thing about trying to stop a class 1 drug, as they call it, when you smoke weed, you want to sit at home and watch stupid movies, not eat potato chips and stuff, not go out and commit crimes. But the way it's set up now in a lot of states, you have to go to a drug dealer and get marijuana, especially if you're in pain, and that's the only thing that helps your pain. But what ends up happening is that drug dealer said, hey, I can make more money selling coke, gives the free base to the guy. Next thing you know, he's addicted to cocaine. I actually sit here and I talked about how, in a video recently, I talked about how crack cocaine was introduced as a way to actually hurt the African American population. And even and really it just hurt not just minority populations, but it really actually hurt it hurt the poor populations. It was more of a class attack drug than it was anything else. And they actually charged people harder on the crime than they would if you had the Colombian good. You know what I mean? If you had the white powder, you didn't get charged as much. Ha, Karens! Oh my God, I hate Karens. I think half our government's Karens right now. Yeah, Karens are literally the worst human beings. And then we got the male version, the Chad. Chads and Karens are the worst human beings. I mean, come on. Let's call the cops on somebody for just living their life. Or let's. I can't stand Karens. I've had Karens get in my face about a lot of crap, and I just look at them and laugh. I was a body piercer for 20 years, and I had a lot of Karens that I had to deal with that tried to tell me what they wanted, and I had to tell them it wouldn't work with their body. And I'm not an asshole whatsoever, but I can come off as one, especially when it comes to a job I've done for so long. And yeah, Karens are absolutely the worst. And I'll tell you what, as time goes on, I think they've evolved and got even worse. Because every time you turn around, there's a new Karen. And it's not just white people. It's now it's like every race has its Karen and Chad. And it's funny to me sometimes. Because I love their freakouts. I'll sit here on YouTube sometime and just watch Karen freakouts. And it's hilarious. Especially when they get pulled over because, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? I'm a city councilman. I'm a teacher. Man, shut up. Nobody cares. Just give them your license and registration and get the hell on with your day. Take your ticket, go to court. I'm tired of freaking Karens. What do you think is the worst Karen thing to do? Come on. There's 3 viewers. I want to hear more. What are the worst Karen things out there to do? We know one of the worst is calling. Yeah, the bob cut. You know what's funny? Like the early Brits, like the early British punk girls and stuff, used to rock the bob cut with their nice. They dyed it and stuff like that. That used to be cool, but now the Karens have it. You always know when they walk in too, and it's usually like, especially in the South. I don't know if you live in the South. I live down here in Georgia. It's usually like a heavier set girl that they think they're hot as shit. They have the bob cut. They have the face pounding like 2 pounds of makeup. And they'll walk in and they'll be like, hey, I want a blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yo, that's not going to work. I'm talking from experience working in your shop. But I want that. No, that's not going to work, ma'am. Or you're at the, just so, can I speak to your manager? And it's funny because I was the manager. So that was the great part. So, yeah. But yeah, Karen freakouts are hilarious. I think the worst one though was the Karen that called the cops on the guy that was bird watching. Like, why the hell are you gonna do that? Why? That was stupid. Let the guy watch birds. Like, that's the most boring shit to do on earth, but it's so relaxed. I do it too. I love bird watching, especially when I'm sick. I'll stick a chair like outside on the door and just sit here and watch all the cardinals are actually my favorite bird. I love them. Karen knocking on a house door to get his Wi-Fi from the owner, and oh my God, that might be the worst thing ever. How can you sit here and like demand somebody's Wi-Fi? That is like the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Pardon my language. I want your Wi-Fi or I'm going to kill your dogs. And I demand to see your manager. Like, come on. Like, you're a Karen. Aren't you supposed to be able to afford internet yourself? Like, seriously, get the fuck off my property. Like, oh my God. I've never watched any episode of the Kardashians, and I have an honest truth. I didn't know what they looked like at all. And until I saw Kanye standing beside, I think it was Kim Kardashian, and they're separated now, I guess. But I didn't know who the Kardashians were at all. And says to Karen, "I'm not a Karen, bro." And I'm not gonna lie, I turned into a Chad today because of some BS that happened. But I hate it. I hate. Everybody has their Chad or Karen moment. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody has that moment because something turns wrong. My dog is literally chasing his tail and he's growling. That is hilarious. I see him in the video, but I don't see him when I turn around. Alright. I think I'm losing my mind. Oh, there he is. Brody, you want to be on YouTube? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ah, never mind. He's camera shy. He'll annoy me in a second. But, the Karen wants to see the Kardashians. Oh, I thought you... Man, yeah. The Kardashians are weird. I never knew who they were at all. And then all of a sudden they start popping up places. I'm like, who is that? Like, why is people talking about this person? And then my wife would be like, oh, that's one of the Kardashians. I was like, oh, that's okay. I never watched an episode. And I think in the dad/mom running for governor in California now or something. And more power to her, I guess. California is a weird state. Like, my wife is from LA, and she said she never would want to live in California again after living in Georgia because we have way more freedom out here. So, there's that. So, I mean, God, people in California, like, that live outside of, like, the liberal areas, this is like Los Angeles and San Francisco, they really suffer because of all this. They all got pregnant. Oh, wow. Isn't there like a curse if you sleep with like a Kardashian? I heard something about like everyone who slept with a Kardashian ended up going crazy or doing like stupid crap and getting in trouble. So yeah, like why would you get them pregnant? Like why would you be stuck with them for 18 years? Like, how did they get famous to begin with? That's the question. Like, someone answer me. Like, how did the Kardashians get famous to begin with? Like, why are we making stupid people famous? That's one problem the United States public has. We like to give stupid people a platform, and that ends up hurting us in the long run. Because, I mean, hell... How many votes in this election did Kanye actually get? I got crazy because her makeup was the weight of the whole... well. You are freaking hilarious. Like, you definitely have to start joining me for more live chats because you're making this even great. Like, I never thought I would go almost an hour on a live chat. Over an hour on a live chat. And you're keeping this going longer than I can. But, wow. Kardashians. When I said let's just talk, I never thought the Kardashians would come up. I'm gonna try to watch an episode of that, see if I can get through like 10 minutes of it. I don't think I can because stupidity irritates me like a lot. I've been watching this episode. I've been watching on Hulu. It's like Ancient Mysteries, and it's really cool. It's really cool what they do. I do recommend it. Like if you got Hulu, go look up the show Ancient Mysteries or Ancient History or something like that. Well, that's awesome. I'm happy to make. I'm here to make people happy too. I'm also here to like try to spread a little bit of truth, and it pisses people off. Like when you tell the truth, people get kind of pissed off, and that's cool with me, I guess, because when you make people feel uncomfortable, you know you're doing something right. I told you my dog will start irritating me in a second, and that's exactly what's going on. He acts more like a human than a dog. He's staring dead at me right now. You want to get on YouTube? You want to get on? You want to say hey to everybody? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Everybody, this is Brody. This is Bro. This is my Dutch Hound, a mini Aussie right here. He's my buddy. He actually can detect when I have seizures, and he actually watches over me when I do have a seizure. So he's a good boy. He's a really good boy. Thank you. Yeah, he's a cutie. He's a sweetheart. Sometimes my daughters put a sweater on him and shorts, and he runs around the house trying to get them off, and that's the funniest part ever. Oh, there you go, buddy. He's going to get mad because I put him down. Yesterday, he wouldn't leave me alone. I had a seizure last night, and he wouldn't leave me alone. He's chasing his tail right now. What are you doing? Yeah, it's funny. I can put up my hands like boxing like this and say put him up, and he'll jump up with his paws and he'll try to box me back, and it's pretty. Hey, I'm talking to people here. Are you gonna be rude? You're interrupting. You want to interrupt? Why are you interrupting me? Yeah? Shh. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. I think Brody needs to go outside and use the restroom. So I'm gonna cut it short. It is nice to meet you, Shadow Diamond. Look forward to another chat. I'll have another live stream in a couple of days. It might be another just random chat, or it might be on a specific subject. But everyone, please join me again. Y'all have a great night, great week. Don't watch the corporate news. There's other great sources out there. Ranger Up actually has a bad news network where they actually deliver a great news program, and they tell a lot of the truth there. And y'all have a great day. And remember to follow me on my social media accounts, Facebook.com/The Real Reverend James Nixon, Twitter, Reverend James Nixon, and of course Instagram, Reverend James Nixon. I will pop them up right here real quick. So if y'all want to follow me, y'all can. And I post a lot of stuff. Y'all can shit talk me. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. And yeah. So y'all have a great night. Let me get these up real quick, and then we'll end this. Alrighty. There they are up in the chat, and I will see all of y'all later. Y'all have a great night, great weekend. Drink your coffee. I like my coffee black, and I like my tea in the harbor. Remember that. So, good night, everyone, and y'all have a great weekend.